On Funniest Pets and People, a putrid posse follows their nose. A boy makes a dear friend. A tiny tractor spills the beans. A turtle comes out of his shell. A monkey tows a tightrope. And a dude does a dirt dive. It's the show that will have you sit, stay, laugh, and beg for more. Welcome to Funniest Pets and People. In the right hands, or paws, anything can be a toy. And here comes the proof. Jasper knew it wasn't enough just to water the grass. You also need to aerate the soil. And that's what he's doing with his toenails. You see, the act of aerating increases activity of soil microorganisms, improving rooting, and also feels good squishing between his toes. Nice job, Jasper. Maddie thought the cat was a chew toy. But that's okay. The cat thought Maddie was telling his fortune by reading the bumps on his head. So it's a win-win.
Hey, cutie. This is Zephyr. Ow.
As long as you kept feeding her, Zephyr would play the piano. But she only knew one song. How Dry I Ham. Henry did everything he could to get his owners away from the TV and out to water the yard. But from the looks of that dirt patch, he hasn't had a lot of success. Nelson here proves that you don't need toys to have fun. As long as he has a belly and a place to scratch it, he is going to have a good time. What is Velcro doing? He knows he's a size 10, and this is clearly a size 8. But he just loves the way the white pops the gray in his fur. Maybe something in a loafer. Rule number 1 of a sleepover: don't be the first to fall asleep. You never know what's going to wind up on your belly. And if you wake up with a bow on your tail, well, don't say we didn't warn you. Robert here is the little tractor that could.
I think I can. I think I can. I think I can!
Well, he thought he could. Now he's the little tractor that needs a hand.
A little help, please.
It was neither the best of times nor the worst of times. It was just good times. Some people need white noise to sleep, but Petey here just needs the rumbling sound of his mother's belly. This works best before dinner, when the rumbling is at its peak.
Look at this. This is too precious. I'm gonna go to sleep, Aunt Sadie.
Lando couldn't believe it. He had been collecting the hair he had shed for an entire year to make his owner a sweater. And now the vacuum charges it and steals it all away. Well, looks like his owner gets a tie this year. Again. Because Vesna and Mirko booked the smaller hall, couples had to double up while dancing at the wedding. And while this did save some room, it also led to more than a few mishaps. Hamilton wants to go outside and play. But first, he needs to finish his chores, and the last thing on his list is cleaning the windows. You know, a lot of cats won't do windows, but Hamilton shines them up until they're spotless. And then he has a better view of his ultimate goal, the yard. Ah, this is the new self-opening bottle of champagne. No more messy splashing. The only thing you need to do is watch out for the cork. You know, there's a reason they have singing waiters, not dancing waiters. Looks like she lost her poor meatball. With the house on the market, Fred was going to do all he could to drive potential buyers away. So he liked to crawl under the sheet and do the old haunted chair routine. And he would have gotten away with it, too, if it wasn't for those meddling kids. Dogs have 4 legs, but they don't always need to use them, especially when the stairs are carpeted. But if these were hardwood floors, well, you can bet he'd be putting all 4 paws to good use. Coming up, some dogs with a secret. And a snowy smash-up. When we return to Funniest Pets and People. Welcome back to Funniest Pets and People. Saying you're a kid at heart is just a nice way of saying you're immature. Shampoo always seems to come with a different scent. Almond hyacinth or grapefruit pumpernickel. Well, no matter what flavor your shampoo is, deer call it just one thing. Delicious.
What do you think about that, Sam? What do you think about cinnamon licking you?
Here's a couple of cuties sharing some secrets with their best friend. And I'll bet you I know what they're saying. Ruff, 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 ruff. Even at a very young age, Gary knows that if you want to succeed in life, you can't be afraid to get dirty. And Gary has success written all over him. Daniel had a clear advantage over the dog until the pooch decided to sweep the leg. Ooh, hope he's all right.
You're all right.
Yeah, thanks, Mom. As she vacuumed up the dog hair from the stairs, Carla had a brainstorm. Why not just vacuum the dog himself? Now, while it was a little confusing for him at first, Eddie learned to live with it. At least he wasn't getting shampooed. With the camera's battery about to die, they only had one chance to get this shot right. All right, we'll charge up the battery and be back out here at sunrise. Little Oscar here has found a great way to play fetch without tiring Mongo out. And the good news is, if the ball somehow gets lost, they've got the DNA evidence they need to prove they're its rightful owners. Nice mess. She needs a container to hold her containers. Look out, it's time for Funniest Pets and People Unleashed. Seemed to be kind of a mismatch. A deer and a dog on a date? Preposterous. But unbelievably, Connie and Buck have hit it off. mean, they like the same food, the same places. Oh, and look, even when her ex-boyfriend shows up, Connie only has eyes for Buck. Yep, these star-crossed kids have a bright future ahead of them. Wolfgang was tired of chasing his own tail, so he settled for one that he knew he could catch. David's. Now, if he could just get David to catch his tail, the circle of his life would be complete. Aim high, Wolfgang. The ceremony had gone off without a hitch. And to think, Marguerite was worried Floyd would do something to embarrass her at... Oh, Floyd. Marguerite knows you so well.
It's Timmy the Timid Veterinarian. He loves animals. He just can't bear to touch them. Here he is giving a turtle a thorough examination. Well, as thorough as his fears will allow. You can only have a turtle open up and say, "Ah," so many times before you finally have to diagnose him, Timmy. You know, the turtle looks fine. It's Timmy who could use a checkup.
St. Bernards dream about saving people in distress. But Duncan here also dreams about posing for the photo afterward. Look at those choppers. Yeah, okay, now he's dreaming about the dance they'll have in his honor after the rescue. Like most dogs, Duncan's busier asleep than he is awake. Since it was Gerald and Jenny's first wedding, they thought it would be wise to have a spotter at the reception. Okay, looks like Gerald's ready to take it from here. Now, about that whole threshold thing. When Gordon said he wanted to drop a pickup truck motor into the riding mower, people said he was crazy. Ah, but not crazier than old man Wilkins, who hired him to cut the grass. It's gonna take months for that lawn to grow back in. But Gordon doesn't care. He just earned $20 American for soap. This dog doesn't really snore. Shar-Peis have a lot of loose skin, and this is the sound of it flapping as they breathe while they're sleeping. Hilda had made it clear. She was having a bad fur day and did not want her picture taken. Oh, she'd heard all the promises before. We'll make you look great. We'll airbrush out your flaws, but it didn't matter. She did not want to be photographed until she looked her best. And that was that. Coming up, a cat splits some ends. And the cheapest car wash in town. When we return to Funniest Pets and People. Welcome back to Funniest Pets and People. Okay, put on some sunblock and bug spray. We're heading for the great outdoors. Although you'd think by her name she'd hit it off with him right away. Turns out Mother Goose didn't really get along all that great with the geese. So why did the mama skunk and her 8 babies cross the road? because public transportation in this town stinks. What's black and white and red all over? These skunks, embarrassed by the fact they're being filmed without their makeup. Water buggying, a sport that's fun for everyone, except the fish. They just want to get some sleep.
Okay, Sammy, you go deep. Frank, you do a button hook. Joey, head to the sideline. Dean, run a skinny post. Fitzy, you go over the middle. And Jilly, you run a slant. Oh, and Peter, you stay in and block. Ready? Break.
Yeah, wait. Whoa, 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 what's you? What's you? What's you? Wow!
Simon is such a bad driver, he crashed with the engine off. Ugh, don't give him the keys. Monkeys and a high wire? You know, this scene is a tent and two clowns away from being a legitimate circus. And while it might not be the greatest show on earth, there is no denying that it's got its share of cliffhangers. Wire hangers.
Another one further along.
When the pipes at home were frozen, Carol and Marty had to find creative ways to take a shower. Beauty secrets? Listen, if I had any beauty secrets, I'd be on camera. But here are some experts in the field.
And he would lick them every part of the...
Here's a beauty secret for you. The best way to get tangles out of fur is the sandpapery tongue of a cat. Which really doesn't help if you're a dog. But sometimes beauty takes sacrifice, so if it means making a deal with the enemy to have fur like an angel, well, this pup is on board.
Wants to play with his toys. And he would lick them every part of his body.
To a point, that is. Regina fancied herself a modern-day Rumpelstiltskin, and she set out to prove it. But rather than spin straw into gold, she was going to collect the hair from some golden retrievers and use that. I mean, she figured it would work. After all, they've got gold right there in the name, so how could it not work? Huh. Misty could have sworn that she saw a mouse run in there, but so far nothing. She's gonna look for another hour, and then she's checking the ears. Coming up, a hound howls for America. When we return to Funniest Pets and People. Welcome back to Funniest Pets and People.
Oh, say, can you?
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Dawn's early light, all right, finish. Okay,
Play ball!